When I was 4 or 5 years old, my mother ended up marrying a hell of a man named Frank Harris out of Alabama. He was a master electrician. Taught me to trade growing up. That's who raised us. My mom worked for Huge Aircraft most of her life, and we was in a modest little 3-bedroom house right there on 120th Street for most of my childhood and adolescence. It was I would say a lower middle class. We was on the brink of being poor and being looked out for. So the neighborhood was lower middle class neighborhood.
For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you've been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf.
I was the founder. I created Conan Pocket in my mother's garage.
I had a lot of, lifting weights, and I was on swole. They start calling me Big Miz.
Kev Mac videos, you know, this is for sure. Kev Mac videos, open your soul.
This is only the beginning.
When you were born, was your parents already on 120?
No, I moved to 120th Street when I was 8 years old.
Okay, where did you move from?
I went to Century Park. I was on 105th in between Normandy and Dinker. Before that, I was on 87th and Broadway and went to Manchester Elementary School.
Do you know where your mother came from? What state?
My mother was born in Texas.
Okay, what part of Texas?
She was born in Houston, Texas, and my father was born in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Typical.
Yes.
But had you in LA though?
Yeah, had me and my brothers and my sister in Los Angeles.
Now, when you go back to prison, when you go to prison, Raymond Crips get along with all Crips, is that right?
No.
Who was y'all beefing with?
No, Raymond Crips is part of the old car. The Raymond Crips is part of the roller coaster car. So basically, after the organizations, let me go back. When I went to the hole in '84. I came out of the hole. They had these new prisons, like I told you. It was a new order of cripping on the yard that was even new to me. It's called cars. I came out there with the organization still, as the blueprint of what cripping was doing. But I was introduced to in the breakup of the Blue Note CCO thing. It was cars that was formed. I didn't have nothing to do with it. But when I got up the hole is separate from the main line. So when I got the hole, cars was out there. The Raymonds were part of the roller coaster car, which encompassed all the O's and the East Coasters. So, and then you had the gangster car. It was different cars. Some saying, encompassed the Hoovers and all the gangsters clique. So it was different cars when I got out there. Compton, CC Riders, and Watts, they had their car. So when I got out the hole, the Raymonds were part of the roller coaster car.
While you was locked up, I know the Raymonds started beefing with, I don't even want to say, but other Crip sets on the street. So I'm trying to figure out what was going through your mind, like them niggas going crazy out there on the street, or?
Nah, because I know the streets. I know, I'm a product of those streets. You know what I mean? I had run in with Crips before I went to prison. We had run-ins with each other. I know things happen. I know the mentality. I know the infantility, or how infantile some of these dudes can be, and they think it. I know about people out there trying to make themselves bigger and better than what they are and do stupid stuff to create stupid stuff. So no, I was in prison because I didn't think I was ever coming home. But Yeah, I was in prison and my hood was, getting into things, getting into, shooting battles with other Crips. I didn't have nothing to do with that. I didn't condone it, and I don't condone it to this day. I don't condone Crip and Bloods, going at each other. But I'm a product of these streets, man. I'm a product of Los Angeles. I know this city. I know this mentality. I know that these things are inevitable, especially with the, like I say, the proliferation of cripping and, keyways and dime moves on the street. When I was on the street, it was a handful of people that was cripping from these neighborhoods. Now the whole damn neighborhood is with it. You see what I'm saying? So it proliferate, and then anytime you got more than 3 people in an operation, you don't know what that third person gonna do from one day to the next. But the thing about me when I was on the street, and this is why I enjoy a little bit of respect and a little bit of tolerance from other hoods, even Damu hoods. When I was on the street, when I was running this Raymond thing, if my homies violated something in another hood or with anybody that was gonna cause us to go to war, and he was in the wrong, he got disciplined, homie. We stepped up to that. My reputation speaks for that. And I think I enjoy a little bit of trust and respect from all the enemies that we factored into what we talked about, even the enemies, I was the one to go to the roof in high power with the Emmy and brokered that peace between the Crips and the Emmy. I was the man against everybody. I went to the roof with the Emmys and put that war to rest. On the assumption that, and they gave me, because I will discipline a homeboy that's in the wrong. Now, if my homie is in the right, then I'm the man you want me with. I'm the man you want to be with when we go up in here, because you can't tell me nothing. And I hear, you hear it out, but when I did what I did, when I did Crippin' in Raymond, if my homeboys was in the wrong, I handled that. And everybody knew that. But if your homeboys was in the wrong and you didn't handle that, then we got a problem. And then, see, now today, you don't have that kind of governance. You don't, everybody is free to do stupid shit without consequence. And now you got a whole bunch of madness running around out there. People need to understand that, you got to control that, man, because it ain't nobody here that's a psychologist. You don't know what's going through your homeboy head when he get drunk. You just got to state what the rules is, and when they break them, homie, you got to be up to the task to enforce what that line is and be serious about it.
We're gonna let the Bloods speak on the Bloods, but I got one question.
Right.
When all the different wars was going on in prison, I noticed a pattern amongst Crips, and you fall in that line too. If the interviewer doesn't directly ask you about the dot moves, you guys never talk about their participation in these prison wars. What was the Bloods doing when y'all was going at it with the BGF and the Crips on Crip fight?
The Bloods was there. The Bloods was pretty much the bloodlines and UBN. More so, the UBN was aligned also with the BGFs. They Peabody and all they little minions. They were with this. The Bloods is cut from the same cloth. We all cut from the same cloth. So all that downess about coming up in there and putting in some work is baked in with them, just like Crips. And they came up in there. They're not as big as Crips. They're not as widespread as Crips. So in that sense, they didn't have, basically, they were there. Believe me, I got out with them too. Rooster from Fruit, that was me and him tore that county jail up. But I get out with them also against a common foe. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I got out with a whole bunch of Bloods up in prison, YAs, county jail. But they there. they were front and center. Matter of fact, let me give you a story. At Folsom, we fell out with the BGS over a riot over a strike. And so the strike was organized by the BGS and the Northern Familiar. The Crips was on board, Blood was on board. Then it fell apart at the top. And I told the Crips, you know what I'm saying? No, until we find out who, was speaking up for this shit, we ain't with it now. BGS had a problem with it, so I got at the bloodlines. Bloodlines, I was like, man, this is my stance. This is our stance. Now, we don't mind doing these strikes and being against administration, but we don't go into them blindly. We want to know what the game plan is, what the exit strategy is. The exit strategy for that strike had got locked up, and they didn't know. So I was like, well, we Crips ain't getting down like that. We got too much. We got too much money to make. We got, it's too much going on for us to just lay down, open-endedly. The BGS had a problem with that. And the Bloods, I got at them, they got back and said, we right. And so we got down, against the BGS on that point alone, together.
How much time did you do in total on this last bid you did in prison?
It's my only bid. I did 35 years in prison. It was my only bid in prison. It was 35 years. I went in 1982, and at the beginning of 82 and got out in 2016. So 34 years and about 7-8 months. 35 years, let's round it up.
I seen you at Melvin Hardy's funeral. Did you know Melvin?
I know Melvin, I know BB, I know his sister, I've been in that house numerous times, right there on Dinker and 113th Street, corner house. Yes, I know him very well.
You got any message to these youngsters that you want to send?
Yeah, it's always, that's what elders do. That's what people in my position do, man. My experience ain't got to be yours, Look at, my faults, look at my mistakes, and improve upon them, man. Like, let's put it like this here, man. If an individual, say for instance Malcolm X, myself for that matter, can redeem themselves, educate themselves, grow into who they naturally supposed to be, or had that, pleasure doing that. Why can't the group do that? Why can't Crips do that? I mean, they still evolving. I'm saying to all those Crips out there, rappers, soldiers, dope dealers, blue collar Crips, we got them all. We run the spectrum, man. They got families now. We older now. Bring it together, man. Work, do what you got to do, man, to, stay above water, but also have in the back of the mind that you're trying to build that shit. You're trying to bring it into something worthy of yourself and us as a group, because we're not going nowhere. That's a natural fact. So we might well go up. We've already been down enough, so we might well go on up.
Oh, let me go back. One more question. When you went to prison, as opposed to when you came home from prison, how much of the demographics of your neighborhood changed?
Oh, tremendously. It's gentrification in my neighborhood is there. The homeless. First of all, man, it wasn't like that when they all throughout my neighborhood now. Mexicans, they pretty much are everywhere. And my neighborhoods I hung out in, which is basically my neighborhood, the 60s. Those are my two primary hustling spots. Black, and at 95% black when I was on the street. Now, I drive down those streets, those same streets, Mexicans everywhere. So gentrification, and that's trend. They just, we right here in Mexico anyway. But when I left the places that, man, when I went to prison, I thought blacks was the majority on the planet and in the United States. But you know, that's how ignorant I was. But that was my environment. That's my world. That's what I thought the world looked like. You know, and came to believe that the world was gonna always be that. When I got home, that world was gone, man. It was Mexicans, and you believe it or not, you even got white people that's back over there. You know, so I was like, you know, this is some weird shit, man. But you know, hey, man, that's beyond me. You know, but in that event that it is going that way, you need to solidify as black people, man. You need to understand what that is and organize and get ourselves together, man, and push it forward. Because if we don't, man, I mean, shit, man, we ain't gonna be here no more. Not in California, anyway. You know, it might be one or two here or there, but hey, it was all black. It was 90% black in my world when I left the streets in '82.
Can you put a year on when you first remember South Los?
South Los, yeah, and Raymond Avenues developed South Los. You talking about the Mexican South Los? Yeah, Bozo, my homeboy, Mexican. He was a Raymond Avenue Crip. He started South Los, and they came into existence and was able to sustain themselves on the back, with the support of the Raymond Avenue Crips. So when they was in their infancy, it was the Raymond Avenue Crips who sustained them against the Ochentes and Gardena 13. In fact, my brother is the one who put 3 shells in Tony Soto coming over there looking for. Tony Soto was from he was a leader of Gardena 13. He came over there near Helen Park looking for some South Los and ran into some Raymonds, Lavelle, some Raymonds right there, and told Lavelle and them that they, you know, get out the way, you know, where them South Los at. And Tony Soto caught 3 hot ones just that quick, just real quick.
Do you remember what year South Los came to exist?
South Los came about 1975. That's when they, I had my little burgundy Mustang back then, and Jesse Dunn-Ricky, about 1975, they started, and they killed Ochentes, killed Bozo that same year, I think, in 1975, stabbed him to death. Yeah.
What did you think about Snoop Dogg at the halftime Super Bowl show?
Man, look, man, I was looking at this brother, and you know, in his zone, he at the top of his game. You know, celebrity has his place, and I can't do nothing but salute him. You know, they is out there crip walking, and he's representing like he's supposed to. I can't do nothing but give him, you know, all the props in the world, man. I mean, he taking his brand to a commercial place no other could. So, in the position he in Crippin', he at the top of that. And we all down here, you know, on the floor, we can't do nothing but respect that, man. Anybody to take this Crippin' to the level that they supposed to be at in it, you can't do nothing but salute it. Now, what I can say with these rappers and getting all this, you know, this cabbage, they doing very well. I would, you know, encourage them to come down, man, and look at some, you know, some philanthropy, some philanthropy operations in their thing, and bring some of that celebrity and influence down here on the ground, man, helping us out, you know, with these nonprofits down here, man, which is, you know, some of them know the game better than me about these tax write-offs. I'm with IWATC, and we really enjoyed, man, having Snoop come through. You know, I seen Snoop with somebody showed me a clip with Snoop and Harry-O recently, and in that clip, Harry-O was saying that $1 billion is not worth going to prison or being in prison 30 years. And I'm glad the brother's home. I was on the yard with him a couple of years. And that's my work today. That's what I do today, man, is keep these brothers up out of them joints, keep them up out of them cages, man, keep them from coming back. And I do that with this nonprofit, IWATC, and we always in need of any help we can get, man. And, you know, Snoop, Ice Cube, they got people around them that know who I am, that know my character, that know my heart. I don't know either one of those brothers, but they have people all around them that knows me. And what I say, I mean. And hopefully, man, they'll look into coming down here, man, and, you know, seeing what we can do, man, about building these nonprofits out here, man, in the way that them white folks do, man. They got philanthropy organizations and operations that they contribute to, write the tax off, and build. And that's a way that we can build, you know, with the brothers and the homies that, you know, found it, you know, that found it to the top, that found it, you know, just found that, you know, they in their zone, they on the top. So all I'm saying is, just come on, man, just think of ways to make us stronger down here. And y'all can do that.
What would be some of the stronger ideas you have for them to put their money toward, such as buildings?
Yeah, but you know, I'm thinking in terms of, so when I look, you know, over the rises, man, so white folks, man, they can you know, the 12 boys that started Wall Street created millions of billionaires and millionaires. So when I look at us as a people, man, I give all the props in the world to individuals that then became upwardly mobile, you know, and they don't want for nothing financially. But at the same time, when you up there and you're looking at all your people down there, you also got to think of ways where you can get that population where you can get everybody to eat. Man. I mean, it's, you know, we're not the government, but every little bit helps. So, you know, philanthropy, I think that's underrepresented with blacks that's in position of money. And I think that's something that we need to look at when we on top, as far as getting these basically government dollars. If you look at them as if you go to a 501c, you can have a tax write-off by helping these people out. And at the same time, you're helping people out. So, you know, Pete Carroll do it, Bill Gates, all these white multi-millionaires got these groups helping out their people. We need to do a look at that and explore that and see how that can contribute down here on the floor to getting us from where we are to where we need to be. But with all due respect to them brothers, I really admire what they done did. I know that brother had a hefty respect and love for my big homeboy, Tookie, who, of course, is much respected and loved by me. In fact, I talked to his son just the other day. He on his way home. And I just asked the brother, come on down here, man, and chop it up on that level alone. We're not asking for no handouts. We don't want to do that, but we can always come together, man, and do better with each other. That's it.
Wow.